It only took him till he left WWE to do it. Bryan Danielson has now got his first 5-star match. We're going to talk about the classic that was Bryan Danielson versus Kenny Omega in just a second. So stay tuned. This is the Elite Maniac podcast. What's up, people? Welcome to the Elite Maniac podcast, where we discuss all things AEW. My name is Max, aka WrestleManiac UK. I'm alongside my co-host Mike, aka Kings Road Wrestling. We have a really good show for you today. Obviously, this past week, AEW Grand Slam week on Dynamite, on Rampage. So we're going to talk about, as we do on this Sunday show, the 5 best things we really enjoyed this past week. But before we do all of that, please remember to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel as well. And for all of our audio listeners, please make sure you subscribe and follow us on your podcast platform of choice.
Yes,
Leave us
please.
with a 5-star review. Let the people know about the good work myself and Mike are doing right here at the Elite Maniac podcast, and share the link as well to the podcast if you can do so as well. We'll appreciate it a lot. Mike, how have you been this past week?
It's too much this week, man. I went to 2 live shows in New
Okay.
Jersey, and it was fun. But so I went to Get Lost a lot in New York to see Suzuki.
Yeah.
I met him. I met Suzuki. I know you
Yeah.
shared the photo of it. It was friggin' unbelievable, really. Like just unreal. And I met Taiji Ishimori. I saw him too. Obviously, of the Bullet Club. Just what an amazing show in Queens.
Yeah.
However, I made a wrong turn coming out of the venue, and ended up with my big pickup truck in Midtown Manhattan, completely lost. I had no idea where I was going. The GPS wasn't working, and I just didn't know where I was going. So I got home at like 3 a.m. and I
Wow.
woke up the next morning, like went to the gym, and then there was a barbed wire steel cage match being advertised at a local show. I said, I gotta go. So I went to both, and I missed Rampage. I'm so sorry, everybody. I got to catch up with it tonight. But I'm happy to just be here with you, relaxing finally after a long weekend. How about yourself?
Yeah, it has been very, very hectic for me as well this past week. A lot
You
of
seem a little
filming.
stressed.
There's a lot of recording different things, and I don't know where it's come from. If I'm sounding a bit nasally today, I've got a bit of a flu. It's not COVID or anything, so no one needs to worry. It's just a regular flu. I think I've spent a bit too much time outside this
Uh,
weekend. Um, but yeah, I've other than that just been filming. I've been filming earlier today, so for content for my channel. And then now my team, Arsenal, we're playing our rivals Tottenham. We're winning 3-0.
and when
So
the Spurs go marching in.
forget the Spurs. Spurs are losing 3-0. So it's all about Arsenal today. So I'm happy about that. And of course, we're doing our show, but we come here to talk about Grand Slam. And I just think the overall week, I mean, a lot of people have said, AEW maybe need a couple more pay-per-views, not loads like WWE, but maybe, need to up it to about 6 pay-per-views per year, which I can understand. But at the same time, when you have like TV events, TV specials like this, I know the difference is pay-per-views is the money, the buy rates and everything like that, but it's felt like a bloody pay-per-view this week. What did you think?
For
NK
sure.
says the same.
Yeah, I agree with NK.
Yeah.
And what's up, Arpit? Good to see you. But dude, like turning that on, it just felt extremely like special. I know everyone was talking about how like special it was going to be. Like Kingston was hyping up, and it really was. Like that like for all intents and purposes
Yeah.
was a pay per view. We had and we'll get into it, an opening match with like one commercial break, and it went 30 minutes. I mean that is longer than most pay per view matches. So I think when you have that, you got Fight for the Fallen, Fighter Fest, Road Rager. Like, I'm fine with it. And it justifies, in my opinion, the $49 price tag that we pay in the United States for cable pay per views, which is
Yeah.
not cheap. That's a lot of money. And if you're going to do that every month like WWE does, people are not going to do that. So, they don't have a streaming service. So I think it's fine the way it is. That's not really one of my gripes with the company.
Yeah, I think because of the TV specials in between, yeah, I don't need any other pay-per-views added per se to the calendar.
What are they doing
Uh,
today? I wanted to ask you.
Pardon?
What's the pay-per-view today?
Extreme Rules, WWE.
I just got to say, like AEW had a death match
Mhm.
on their card and they just called it Dynamite.
Yeah.
What are they doing to justify it being called Extreme Rules? Like what's going on over there? Like is there is there a hardcore match or
Bruv,
I'm so
until
confused.
last week, they had I think 7 or 8 matches on the card, and nothing was extreme.
That's so
Not one of them.
stupid.
They were all singles matches. Now I think they've made the main event, which is Roman Reigns and Finn Balor, for the Universal Championship. They've made it an Extreme Rules match, which is basically a no DQ match. That's the only extreme match on the pay-per-view. I'm pretty sure they will probably make one of these matches, like something will happen on a pre-show tonight, or WWE.com will announce, oh, all of a sudden this is a tables match. You see what I mean? That but yeah, other than that, there is nothing extreme about this pay-per-view.
Yeah, probably like a chair shot or something, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
forget forget about
Forget Extreme
WWE.
Rule.
Let's talk about AEW Grand Slam, Dynamite Grand Slam, Rampage, and
Yeah,
let's
Grand
get straight
Slam.
into it. What would you say was one of the 5 highlights from the show this week?
I got some great ones from the show, and let's get right into it because I think everybody wants to talk about this. Everyone wants to hear our thoughts on number one, Bryan Danielson, the American Dragons re-debut to the American wrestling scene after 10 years, right? Or six? Or what was it? He's
What that he's been in WWE?
10 years probably. I think.
Yeah, probably about 10 years or so.
Yep.
Yeah,
Versus the AEW World Champion, the Cleaner, Kenny Omega, and at Arthur Ashe Stadium in a sold out 20,000 person arena in New York City. Unbelievable. I mean, the minute that this show started and they panned around to the fans, it was just like this match is going to be so good. And there was so much pressure on both of these guys. Like let's acknowledge that. Like
yeah,
Daniel was talking about Brian was talking about this match on ESPN. He
yeah,
was doing a thing, and he said that there's so much pressure. It was the biggest match of his career, and that being so because this could really change the course of AEW and put it on an upward trajectory. If WrestleMania when he main evented it, while it was really really big, if it was a miss, people were still gonna tune in and it wasn't really going to do anything negative or positive for the company. It'd be
yeah.
ultimately the same. But this, I think, really would have done something for AEW if it was a grand slam. And let's get your thoughts on the match. Was it a grand slam? Did they miss? What was this?
This was to me an absolutely terrific wrestling match. Um, I could tell they were visibly holding some stuff back,
Really?
which did annoy me a bit. I these guys have a lot more to give. 100%. Like they didn't get out of gear 2 maybe. Like they have 4 other gears that they could literally go down. And it almost came too easy for them to just put on a complete clinic of
A
which they put
clinic.
on.
A
Yeah,
clinic.
they put
This
on a
was
clinic
gear
without
two,
trying.
5 stars. And I agree with you. We didn't see a one wing angel. We didn't see Brian's. I keep calling him Brian. I'm sorry
Yeah,
about
it's fine.
Brian Danielson. Okay, that's his name.
Yeah, yeah,
You guys know what I'm talking about. We didn't see his finisher, the
yeah.
running
The
kick.
running knee. Yeah.
So that was completely held back. We also,
We saw a yes lock, but after the bell.
yeah, cattle mutilation.
Mm.
But no one wing angel. Not really that many V triggers. There were a few. But they were just like really just wrestling for like 28 minutes until it got down to the final 2 minutes. So yeah, I
bro.
would agree. This is gear 2, and the fact that you said it's gear 2 just blows my mind, right?
And this is, and that's like I said, that's maybe one little inkling, the thing that made me kind of angry was just like there's just so much more to give, and I know these guys are holding back some stuff for maybe a actual match that means something for a championship maybe one day, but yeah, it's like they didn't get out of gear 2. Yes, we didn't get a winner, and I think we all knew we probably weren't going to get a winner. We knew it would be a time limit draw, but I think that is one thing for me that, you know, it's still a 5-star performance from both guys, right? But I think it's hard to really rate a match like this without a result. Some would argue again the result was a draw, but without a winner, I just feel like it's a bit. How can we give this match a 5-star? I'm not saying we should have given it anything less. I'm just thinking maybe it shouldn't have had a rating at all. You see what I mean? Like, I just feel like,
Mhm.
how does something without an outcome have a score?
This was just so good. Like
It
I
was
didn't
so
even
good.
care at that point who won. That's how crazy this is.
Mm, mm.
Well, I
No.
do kind of care, but like I didn't at the same time. Like I
Yeah,
was like,
you
oh my,
have your favorite of who you'd want to win,
exactly.
but
Like
then you don't care if the other guy wins. Yeah,
I mean,
100%.
like I don't even know like going forward what's going to happen because they're obviously setting up for a title match, like you said. And
Mm.
I mean, like if Brian got the belt, it's fine with me. I mean, look at what he did. I mean, who could you really say is better than that guy? Really? Like I
He's
know
brilliant.
Hangman Page and the whole storyline, and everybody loves it, but he's, as Brian would say, he's not on his level. There's no chance he's on his level. Absolutely not, bro. Like, come
That
on.
Bryan Danielson is different gravy.
He hits different,
He's
dude.
cut from a different cloth,
Yeah.
honestly. Like, and like I said, I don't think them lot have a lot more to give. This match was fantastic, and we didn't even get a winner.
No,
Like,
man.
they could have, you know, which maybe we will get a 60-minute, you know, match somewhere down the line, um, and a winner maybe. Like, it was absolutely phenomenal, and a lot of people have commented on this, and I agree with the sentiment that, you know, it wasn't the typical kind of, okay, well, time's running out, let me do a final move, and then you're counting the pin, and then the time runs out. It was literally when the time ran out, they were still absolutely kicking and punching and
Yeah,
beating the shit
still
out of each
going.
other, like
Maybe
still
kick it
going.
into the next gear, and that's
Yeah,
what we
yeah.
would have seen if we had a little bit more time. This honestly felt like a G1 match.
Yeah, yeah, it did. It
Yeah,
very much did.
yeah,
And this is the Kenny Omega a lot of people that have come from watching him in New Japan have wanted to see.
for
Since
sure.
last week when he had the serious side of the promo, it started off a bit goofy, but then he got serious after Daniel Bryan made his challenge. Sorry, Bryan Danielson made his challenge, and then into this whole match, Kenny Omega selling it was supreme. You know, when the shouts and the yes chants were going before the match even started, um, it's Kenny Omega. I think they zoomed in the camera into Kenny Omega's face, and Kenny Omega was like, "I don't give a shit."
Yeah,
Like,
dude.
I don't care about all this fanfare around you. Like, I really don't care about it. And um I just, when I was watching that beginning segment as well, you know what I thought of? Rock versus Hogan,
Yeah,
WrestleMania
yeah,
18.
because of the
These
crowd as well.
these guys haven't touched each other, and the crowd are going ballistic.
That's
And if we are being completely honest with ourselves, there may be other comparisons, and if you guys have other comparisons, please put them in the chat. This is kind of this generation's Rock and Hogan.
yeah, and people are so, like, quick to get angry at that, and we're not saying that as a disrespect to Rock and Hogan. We
Mm,
both understand, and I agree with you with that. We both understand how good that was,
yeah,
but that's in the past, and it's time to move forward, and this exactly was that. Um, I This, I think, as well, and I think that this deserves a talking point. I think this solidified Omega as the best wrestler in the United States or PWI. Like people were kind of
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah,
really, like this was that. And we've been friends for over a year now, and you've always heard me talking about since Kenny got the belt that I really just want to see that classic. So that classic 5-star match with him as champion, so people understand what
yeah,
he's all
yeah,
about. And I feel like people completely understand that now, and I'm very, very happy with that. He came out again to a 20,000 person arena, really, to people really, really cheering his name. Like he was pretty over, even though he's a heel. And he put on a great performance, and the crowd was absolutely loving it. And then they had, over 1 million people at home watching it, and it was trending #1 worldwide. So the eyes were on Omega during this match, and
Yeah.
he killed it during that performance. So people that were kind of like, this guy wrestles dolls, this guy was in DDT, he's a joke, he's a cartoon character, I don't get it. I feel like that argument is nil now. Niche,
Yeah.
it's out of the picture. Look how good he did with probably the best technical wrestler ever, in my opinion.
I was ready. I was telling people, watch this match. You're about to see the best wrestler in the world in Kenny Omega go to work. You're
Go
gonna
to
see
work.
that. And he did. He did go to work. But because Bryan Danielson has very much still got it, I left that that watching that match thinking, is Bryan Danielson the best wrestler in the world, or is it Kenny Omega? Like, because they're both of them. It was just absolutely brilliant. And again, my comparison to the Rock and Hogan thing comes from obviously Rock and Hogan are very much sports entertainers. They're very much both kind of kings of that era of show business, that the show
Yeah,
business side
yeah,
of
the
wrestling.
performance.
Whereas Bryan and Omega are kind of kings of the purist style of wrestling,
Yeah, and the
the
purists are
indie and
upset
all
at
of
them,
that.
which is insane, right? Some of
Yeah,
them are
and
like,
and
"Oh,
that and
no."
literally that's why I say it's literally like there couldn't have been another match of this height of people that have their big names, but they're still the purists. You see what I mean?
Yeah, and there's people out there like Victor in the comments. He just said that like Zack Sabre Jr. called out Bryan, but Zack Sabre Jr. is no Kenny Omega. And while that would be a
Yeah.
great technical
No,
performance, he's not Omega, and he's not this aura. You know what I mean? He's
he
he's
doesn't
not
have the
he's
star
not at his
power. He's not the
level.
he's not the star power of Omega. So yeah, even though this was very much a big platform, big match, um, these guys, they are, I don't want to say Zack Sabre Jr. is a nobody,
No,
but
no, he's
compared
not.
to Omega and Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson, he's a nobody. You see what I mean?
He's not.
So
Yeah, he's not to the American audience. He's pretty low on the totem pole.
yeah, exactly.
No disrespect to ZSJ.
Yeah. It was fantastic. And just look at some of the other comments that the guys are putting in. Arpit says they were holding back and still put on a match of the year category. They are so good. NK said this is probably the best TV match I've seen all year. Might be the best Dynamite match I've
For
seen.
sure.
They definitely have way more to give. The match did its job. It made us want more next time. And NK goes on to say, I think they will do an Iron Man match or 2 out of 3 Falls match at Full Gear where Omega wins. Omega versus Page at Revolution. The finish was perfect in my opinion. It built a second match without a promo, 100%.
Hmm.
Arpit says that was Kenny's best match since he faced Tanahashi 2019. It had so many things to offer, and the
Yep.
30 minutes flew by really
That's a
quickly.
great
And
point,
the
Art by
story was
Arpit.
so good. It's true.
Didn't this feel just like that, man?
Listen, we're enjoying the match so much. All we heard was what's his face, Jason Roberts, just say 1 minute remaining, and I was
Yeah,
like,
well, I mean,
what?
there were what? And
We
then
were
there were
like,
like 30 seconds, and I was like, I could watch these guys for hours, man. Really, I could
yeah.
watch them go for freaking hours.
Yeah, NK says Omega hasn't wrestled an opponent of Danielson's caliber probably since his New Japan days in Okada. Yeah, these were two of the all-time greats doing great work, 100%. And Jonesy Chats Wrestling says, who will finally beat Kenny? Well, I guess it's still the rumored Adam Page. That is still the story they are telling. But
Yeah, bro, but come on. Let me say something, bro.
mhm.
Bro, I'm Russo right now, bro. Like as Uncle Dave Meltzer always says, like, there are plans in place, but if something comes along and it's really getting a hot reception with the crowd, you got to kind of go with that. And look what they put on, dude. Like like can you
You're
really
right.
can you really justify putting the belt over Hangman when there's somebody like this? Can that be justified?
So what you're telling me is Brian Danielson's about to do the whole WrestleMania 30 thing all over again, get the crowd behind him, and take the belt off Kenny Omega.
Dude, I think like he is believably the only one that could beat that guy. Believably.
I 100% hear what you're saying.
Like,
I 100% hear what you're saying. I think they've invested so much in the Adam Page
I
stuff though
know, I
that
know.
it will be Page, and I know Page's time seems that it got kind of pushed back a bit because of the whole CM Punk arrival,
Mhm.
and then obviously he had his kid, or he's expecting a kid.
Yeah,
So
to no fault
yeah,
of his own.
no fault of his own. But you're right. Right now, from what the evidence shows, Bryan Danielson is the only one that can make Kenny Omega sweat. He's the
Mhm,
only person. As Victor just said something here, which I want to talk on. He says Ibushi is the one to take the belt from Omega. Now, what I still love about this story, even though it's not Adam Page that's across the ring from Kenny Omega is still showing these insecurities, if you want to call it that. Hence why, obviously, he's got Don Callis in his corner. He's the greatest of all time. He's, like Gotch and Ric Flair and all these people, all the stuff that Don Callis spills out. And even during the match, what did we see? We saw a Phoenix Splash, Kota
mhm.
Ibushi's finishing move.
Yeah, okay. But Ibushi just lost to Yujiro Takahashi in the
I
G1.
don't think Ibushi's coming in. I'm not
No,
going down that road.
I
But
don't
I,
think
I
so.
think I still love the fact of, obviously, Ibushi is like one of the only people in the last how many years to get a victory over
Kenny.
Omega
And kick out of the One Wing Angel, and
and kick out of the One Ring
they still
Angel.
have that ace up their sleeve, and that's a good point from Victor. Like, if they ever wanted to do that with that, there's a storyline that's already paved that they
Ready
could. Like,
made. They said Phoenix. They said obviously he ain't hit the Phoenix Splash. He ain't attempted that move since the Moxley match, which was nearly 2 years ago. When he done it then as well, he didn't hit it. He missed it.
okay, so he hasn't, and that's
He's went for it twice in 2 years and never hit it. And I think this is still kind of playing into the whole insecurities of Kota Ibushi, and that side of this entire big story. It's absolutely fantastic what these guys are doing. I just don't know now where we go with Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson, because like you said, right now on paper he is the only guy that can believably beat Kenny Omega.
100%. And I thought another point to bring up, and um, sorry we're talking about this so much, but it deserves the praise. It deserves the
Hmm.
conversation. I thought that you know when in WWE, I like Daniel Bryan, but some of the guys that they paired him up with, like it just seemed like weird. I
When you
remember
say
one
paired them up with, you mean like opponents or what?
opponents. I remember him like putting the yes lock on Batista, and I was like, Batista's just like too freaking big. Like it just looks weird. Like it didn't look believable that like Batista submitted to that. But like I think this was like a perfect pairing. Like it was like a guy of like similar
Yeah,
stature. Like it was like not like a monster steroid freak. And I think that AEW has a lot of uh people on their roster that are comparable size. I think that's key, man. I think that like really adds to the whole believability of this thing. So like I can't wait to see who he continues to face, but I want to see him continue with this Omega thing, obviously. And I don't know, what was your like what were your some of your highlights of the match if you can recall? I'll give you mine. That
yeah,
freaking running V trigger from the entrance ramp that Kenny did
yeah,
was
yeah.
was dirty. And then they had a Snapdragon on the entrance ramp
On the
that was
entrance
crazy.
way. Yeah.
Um, and then Brian did like a tope that was ridiculous. Um, and he was like putting in the cattle mutilation. That was money. So
Yeah, that was great to see as well. Um, I think the beginning sequence, and I'm probably still watching some of this with my WWE Sports Entertainment hat on. They start the match and nothing happens for a good 90 seconds, and the
mhm.
crowd are just absolutely killing themselves. They are in the rings, milking it. It's those moments in wrestling that does it for me. That's just like, wow, we've actually got something super special here. Daniel Bryan going back to his Ring of Honor days and telling the referee he's got till 5, for to release the counts and stuff like that. I thought was brilliant. He's done that before in WWE, and not a lot of fans have got it. They don't know it because they just know him from WWE. So it was good to see the New York crowd react when he did that, because it obviously shows they know his history before
Mhm.
WWE. Um, And yeah, like I say, the way it finished as well, like it was just literally they were just beating into each other before before the well, when the bell went, and then obviously the super elite came down to break it up and give him a
Super.
hand.
There's two comments that like I want to say. They're exactly the same. So
Go on.
Arpit mentioned that Heyman is taking the belt away. Bryan himself doesn't want the belt, and NK said, "I don't think Bryan even wants the belt." I disagree with that. I don't think Punk wants the belt. I think he wants to help the young talent. From what everything Danielson has said, he wants to kick everybody's head in, and he
Mm.
wants to wrestle. And hell yeah, I think he wants the belt. Like I don't think those are comparable. Like what do you think?
I think it's one of them things where everyone's got an ego in it. And everyone, some people's egos will be bigger than others. Like for sure, CM Punk's ego is probably bigger than Bryan Danielson's. However, obviously, like you just said, CM Punk has said he wants to help the younger guys, and Bryan has said he wants to kick their heads off. Ultimately, these two both know what's best for this business. If they have to, carry the title for a certain stint, even if it's 5 months or something shorter, just to put it
Elevate.
on somebody else, elevate the title to put it on someone else, they will do that because they know what's best for business.
Exactly,
Um,
bro.
but yeah, I think neither of them would want the title, but you know, if the people want it in terms of the fans and they need to do it for the right situation, then that is very possible.
I mean, I agree with that. I also think like Bryan definitely came here to wrestle, like first and foremost. And I know he wanted to do like a stint in the G1, and that just tells everyone that like he's here to compete.
Yeah.
However, he can't go to Japan, is what I'm saying. And look at the numbers drawn, and look at the crowd, and like, yeah, give him the freaking belt, bro.
Yeah. It's all it's all timing. Like we said, all we've seen him do now is come out and interrupt Kenny a couple times, and he's had a brilliant match this past week. It is still extremely early days, although at this point it kind of feels like he's been there for a while already. So we'll just
Yeah,
have
because it
to
was
see
so
where
good. Yeah.
the next couple of weeks go from here. But absolutely fantastic. Even the placement on the card just to get everything and everyone ready for the night.
Yeah, dude,
Um,
people were complaining about that on
Nope.
like
They done the right thing.
they did the
And
right thing, right? Yeah,
they did the right thing. And I was shocked when the show started and it was the first match on. I was like, whoa, like I was shocked. But this is another thing I absolutely love about AEW. They didn't discredit that match in a sense. What they did is protect their titles and make their titles mean something. They put the
exactly,
AEW
bro.
Women's World Championship in the main event. They're not, the men's world title's not on the line. So the next belt in the company is the women's world title,
That's
and
on
that's
the
your main
line,
event.
and that's a
Thank
world
you.
title.
Like
Yeah.
to me, it makes total sense. It's not what we were used to. Like I said, even myself, I was like, okay, they're doing it, brilliant. But it makes the women's world title feel all important as well.
Mhm. You always
So
wanna start hot. You don't wanna dude, like, people like, I'm telling you, like, I've been to AEW shows. I've been to many live wrestling shows over the last people there get tired. Even I do. Even the people that I really love that came out during Dynamite, I was like, like, all right, they're here. Like, I'm tired of yelling, bro.
yeah.
You want that first when people are hot and ready. They did the same thing with Punk when they brought him out first, and that was the right call. And I
Mhm.
stand by that. And we could get right into number two because you
Let's go.
mentioned it.
Yeah.
Was Britt and Ruby main eventing the largest non WWE show since I think 2001. Yeah, just absolutely insane. Holy shit, dude! Like, now was this match like a Masawa Kobashi 5-star Meltzer match? No, but I think that it was really great to put that in the main event. I thought that they both did a good job, and I feel like this was like the right move to do to continue building the women's division.
100%. If there's anybody in that company that deserves a main event spot um, for their work in front of such a large, record breaking crowd, it is Britt Baker. She has absolutely been a star in this company. The minute they've turned her through the pandemic era, if you like, back
Through
in
her
front of
injury,
crowds, through her injury. She has been an absolute star in this company, and she deserved it. And we all said, yeah, Britt Baker's gonna retain, obviously. However, I was watching her face. I've got this thing of watching people's faces
Yeah, yeah.
when it's a championship match, the champion when they're coming out to see, do they look pissed? Do they look like they have
Mhm.
to do the job today, like lose the title? And she looked pissed.
Dude.
Her
Mhm.
face was like, I'm losing today. Like I have to lie down and Ruby's gonna pin me. So, and as the match progressed, Ruby was getting better and Ruby was getting stronger and getting off all her moves and stuff. And I was like, oh my god, I sold myself a dream, hands held high in the sky. I told myself Ruby's gonna win this.
Yeah.
And of course, we saw, Hater, we saw Reba ringside getting involved, doing what they had to do to ensure that their girl, um, Dr. Britt Baker, walked out as champion. And I thought, fair enough. Ruby came close. Britt Baker done her thing. She had her girls, to help her. She's a heel, so that's absolutely fine. Um, I guess it still means that the what do you call it, the casino battle royals and stuff don't have much of a meaning, because we haven't
Not
seen
yet.
anyone
Yeah.
kind of kick on since then. But no, like it was a very good match, good showcase for Ruby. Britt was very good, like I said, deserved that spotlight, deserved that main event,
Mhm.
and she continues her reign as women's world champion.
Yeah, man. For sure. I think it was interesting that you mentioned the face part because there were some people were messaging me during the match like, have you seen? Did you see Britt come out? Like she looks
Mm.
pissed. Like oh
Mm.
no. And I thought like for sure there was like a glimpse. There were glimpses of. I think that Ruby is going to win. I know we talked about like maybe they were going to swerve everyone, make the battle royals mean something,
Yeah.
and have Ruby win on this grand stage. So really I can honestly say I didn't know who was going to win. And this face thing, I didn't really ever think to do this. And I always like mention that you think of these like little intricacies that I don't think of. But I remember watching a Drew Parker match, who's he's a guy from the United Kingdom who wrestles in Japan, and he recently
Okay.
just lost his title over there. And he came out and he looked all pouty and pissed, and I was like, okay, I got to start looking at people's faces. And Britt definitely like sold that really well. Like she came out, and I
Yeah.
was like, oh no, like what's gonna happen? And would I have been mad if Ruby won? No, but like I also want to address. I think she still needs some work adjusting to the AEW style a little bit. And I don't know if I'm the
Of
only one
of
that thinks that.
wrestling or of on the mic or
No,
what
on the mic
exactly do you
she's
mean?
good, but I felt like Britt was just a little bit smoother. Maybe am I crazy to think that? I,
Um, I think Ruby definitely built into the match.
for
And that's what
sure.
made me think as well as Britt's face. That's what made me think, oh, Ruby's, she's gaining some momentum here. She might do this. She told a good story. I think you have to remember WWE style is very formulaic. You do this, you pan to the camera, you turn around, you do
Yeah, it's
it's
like step
like
right,
steps.
step left.
It's literally like instruction manual. This
Yeah,
is what you do when you're in the ring, guys. You're telling, people that have wrestled for 10, 15 years what to do. And then all of a sudden, she's cut. She can't wrestle at all for anyone for 90 days. And then you've put her in front of a crowd of 20,000 people. So I do assume there'll be a little bit of ring rust
a little
and,
bit. Yeah.
stuff like that. Um, and maybe a bit of nervousness.
Well,
She's
I'd
in
be
a main
nervous
event.
too. Think about that.
Yeah.
Think
So
about that
maybe that's what it
environment,
is.
bro.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Main
Uh,
event in New York, 20,000 people, and you haven't featured in wrestling full stop for 90 days before that. Even before that, when you're at WWE, you're probably sitting in catering for a lot of the time.
As Britt said,
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, if you do perceive any rustiness from her, I think that kind of explains it. But I
she's
think she
cool.
had a
No,
good performance.
she did well, and she cut some hella good promos in the weeks coming up to this, and
Mm.
I think she's definitely a future women's champion.
I think there's a bit of a queue.
Yeah, we
I
got
think that,
TR next.
yeah, I think Thunder Rosa will probably be the person to beat Britt Baker for it eventually. But yeah, I think she's up there. She's 100% a lot, better and more ready than some of the women in the division already. So yeah, I
Well,
don't think it'll be too long.
No. Well, how do you think? We haven't asked this question in a little bit. This was one of our classic talking points, though. Do you think? What do you think about the state of the division? Is it improving? Is it stagnant? Is it going down?
So obviously, at the turn of the year, we weren't happy with it at all last year, at all.
No, no. A year
And then
ago, no way.
yeah, and at the beginning of this year, maybe the first 3-ish months or so, we thought something's happening here. It's getting a lot
Something's
better.
changing.
And I still think there's a lot of improvement still to be had. Um, However, I do think we have come a long way and they are getting it right. A lot has been helped by, like I say, the ascent of Britt Baker. She's literally put that division on her back
Yeah.
and, made it something to talk about, even if we are just talking about her. Um, but it's the same with, I see this, with WWE as well. It's telling stories away from the championship. The men's division, they've got 2 or 3 titles, but they're still able to tell stories away from those titles, like just other little feuds going on.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
we've
yeah.
got Anna Jay and Conti
Jade.
against Penelope and all of that stuff. It's not really interesting if we're completely
The
honest.
Jade stuff's interesting, though.
The Jade Cargill.
I like Jade.
No, yeah. I mean, there's little stuff here and there, but like there's nothing of and maybe it's because there's just no other kind of stars in that division. So obviously we've got the champion. In the men's division, yeah, we have the people holding the titles, and then we still have stars in and around every
Yeah,
division,
that's a great
tag
point,
teams
man.
and stuff like that. In the women's division, the star is holding the championship.
And that's usually the one match on the pay-per-view card that, like, it really means something. Maybe there's, like, a battle royal or something stupid.
Yeah.
I'm not that was mean. I didn't
No,
mean
no, no,
that.
no. But that's ultimately what it is. Where we have Kenny Omega holding championship. We still have a star in Bryan Danielson. We still have a star in CM Punk. We still have a
Mhm.
star in Adam Cole. We still have a star
Jericho.
in Jericho. We still have a
Mhm.
star in Young Bucks. We still have a star in FTR. All of these people are stars, and they don't even have any titles. But in the women's
That's a great
division,
point.
the star has the title. So it is
Well,
going to be hard to tell other stories elsewhere without that kind of star power.
what do you okay, so that is such a great point, and I and really thank you for bringing that up because I never
Mm.
realized that. That's true. What do you think now? Maybe they can't do it with the people that they have without a championship belt, and there have been reports that a new secondary women's title is coming in. Is that the
That
right
that
move, right?
I personally, I'm a fan of belts. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
so
a
am
fan
I,
of
like, belt.
championships.
Yeah,
A lot
yeah.
of people don't like, oh, there's too many championships, blah blah blah. I think there needs to be another women's mid-card belt, if you like, because that's gonna help at least build some homegrown stars or build some existing stars. Ruby Soho is a big name to come over from WWE. I'm not sure if she quite crosses into star category, like the likes of CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, Adam Cole when they came in. Um, I'm not sure who a big star from the indies could be. Maybe Deanna Purrazzo if she was ever to come over full time.
Yeah, I would say Ruby's
Um,
bigger than her, though, I think.
yeah, she definitely
Yeah.
is. But I think it's just a thing where, yeah, I don't know. It's big characters. It's because all
There's
these women are
someone,
big
but we're just
wrestlers.
not gonna speak of her.
Blanchard. I don't think, is she a big character?
Honestly, I don't think anymore, but, like, the potential to be, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there needs to be some big characters in there which they're giving time to, so they can ultimately, like when Britt Baker was not champion, she was still the biggest character in the division.
How about
Um,
Ty?
they need to put her on the mic more. They need to give her
Yeah.
some more stuff to do to make her that big character. They made Britt Baker into a massive character, and then she's ruling the roost in that division.
I think the
But
best bets would be Ty and Ann and Jay. Either one of them.
it can happen. I find them a bit quiet. I love both of them. I completely love both of them. I
Yeah.
just find them a bit quiet and stuff.
Alright,
Like
how about
even
Jade then?
Jade is the potential. Jade
Okay,
is
we'll go with
definitely the
her, yeah.
person. So they need to put the engine behind
Yeah,
Jade
yeah.
and
She
let
needs to win
her.
this belt.
Jade needs to make as much noise as Britt Baker did when Britt Baker never had the championship.
Mhm.
And right now, for whatever reason, they're not letting her make enough noise. She's
Yeah, but
making a
she
lot of
is
noise,
in every show with like a promo. Have you noticed that?
but somewhat too many of those promos are like backstage and pre-recorded.
Yeah, they are. But I'm
Remember how
saying
she made her debut? She came
yes.
out, she took the mic, and she started running her mouth, and she needs to do more of that. That's
Okay,
the kind of
okay.
stuff, the MJF kind of, promos,
Women,
not
yeah,
backstage
but
and stuff.
even though we might not like the backstage stuff, it's
Mm.
happening, and I think if we would have
It's a
to make a
start, yeah.
we would have to make a prediction because of what's going on right now. I would put my money behind it's probably her because
Yeah,
she's
I
the
agree.
only one that they can have that they consistently have storylines with without a belt. You know what I
I
mean?
agree. I
Okay,
agree.
we've
It's
harped
it,
on it for a lot. I'm
it
sorry, everybody.
it's definitely Jade. They just need to let her go a bit more. Like they let Britt Baker run. You see what I mean? They took Britt Baker off the leash and just said run, and Britt
Yeah,
Baker done her thing. So they
and
need
she
to do
has
the
smart
exact same
mark.
thing.
She
Yeah,
has help. People are saying she's green on the mic, but she's got a manager. So
I
like
think
this
she can.
is
I think Jade can do it.
yeah.
She's just on the leash right now. That's all. They're just protecting her a tad too much. I would say. Just let her run loose. Let
If
her
she
go
messes
to the
up, she
ring and
messes
cuff
up,
somebody.
bro.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
even think she's gonna mess up. I just think
No.
we're not asking her to have a match. We're asking her to just go out there and run her mouth. Like
And hit
she goes,
people.
yeah, like just it.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
let her run. But like you said, we've talked about this for a bit. Let me take some of the comments around it, then we'll move on to number 3. Black Nito says Jade Cargill is a massive character. Yes, that's what we were saying. Victor Punk says, and the talking part from Jade is coming from smart Mark Sterling,
Yeah.
like
Yep.
you said. So she's got that help there. And Arpit says Jade needs to be like Miro and run through everyone with the belt. 6 months or so later,
Yeah,
she
that's so
might win it
cool.
from Rosa. Yeah, I mean,
Well, we're talking about the secondary belt. I that's what
yeah,
you
I
yeah.
agree. Like I said, from what everyone's saying in the comments, from what we said, it's all the correct stuff. Jade is that person. She is that bitch, like she's saying, but they just need to let her off the leash. They let Britt Baker
Yeah.
off the leash, and Britt Baker went wild. So
They
do the
had
same
her
with
on the
Jade.
leash and nobody liked her.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. So
yeah.
they let her off the leash, and you saw what happened. So do the same with Jade, man, 100%. But
Mhm.
let's move on to the third thing of the week.
Okay, this is kind of be my area of expertise. So I'm sorry I missed Rampage, everybody. I know you're going to handle that a little bit more than I am, but I know there's something that you didn't watch that was actually very, very good. AEW Dark on Tuesday. Elevation, I've consistently said, is not worth the watch. It's just really not. It's stupid. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't like it. But the Tuesday show has been consistently good, and they've made a very interesting step recently, moving to Universal Studios in Orlando, the same soundstage that TNA Impact did during the Impact Zone days, which everybody really liked that stuff. Okay. Dark is now a studio show and it's going to emanate from there every week. And there's a live fan crowd base, whatever, that comes to the show. They're free tickets. And I just think this is a really awesome concept. And I've always said, stop with the squash matches. And this week they really, really did. If you have a minute, everybody, go back and I have 2 recommendations. These were some of the best wrestling matches of the month, bar none. And they were on Dark, and it's insane. They were not squash matches, they were insanely competitive. And that is Stallion Rogers and Anthony Green. They took on FTR this week. I rated it 4.25 stars out of 5. Like, this was so good. It went like almost 17 minutes of near falls.
This is a tag team, right?
This is a tag team match. Yeah, Stallion Rogers and I know that they were in NXT, I think a little bit, and they got let go, and they put on a clinic with
Oh,
FTR.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, this was one of the greatest matches of the month for sure, and it was on Dark. It was crazy, but seriously, such an awesome match. And I'm hoping that they continue to do more stuff like this on Dark because this is what we want to see. We do not want to see Paul White to squash Ricky Shane Page on Monday Elevation in a 1-minute match. Like, I don't want to see that, bro. I want to see the indie stars go at it with the established talent and the indie stars going against the indie stars in great matchups. And we had another one, Daniel Garcia, the flavor of the last 2 months, as we
Mhm,
have been
mhm.
saying, versus Allen Five Angels with a really good storyline.
Who won?
Inter Garcia beat Angels because Angels is having a feud kind of with the Dark Order. They're having a lot of issues right now. So nobody accompanied him to the ring. And 2.0 was out with Garcia helping him. So they were able to uh, defeat Angels pretty easily. It was basically like 3-on-1. But
Mm.
insanely good match. And I also had this at a 4 stars. It was competitive. It was great, and it's a unique, cool crowd that came out to watch this. So I'm all for the Tuesday show. This was the best episode of Dark I've ever seen.
You're selling it to me. I can't lie. You're selling it to me.
Those 2 matches, don't like the other ones are cool if you've been keeping up with Dark, but I don't wanna bore you. I know you're busy, so, those are my recommendations for everybody.
For me, it's just the time. I have acknowledged from a lot of people saying it, the same thing that you've been saying. Dark is getting better. They are beginning to tell stories on a week to week basis on Dark. It's literally just time to squeeze it in for me.
Mhm.
Um,
The Monday
but
thing is still an issue, bro.
the Monday
Still
thing,
an issue.
oh,
Like,
elevation.
I don't get it. I just don't get it, man. I don't get it. I was all for it when it was announced, and I've given it a fair chance, and I just don't get it.
Yeah, they haven't made it feel like, especially whilst you have Dark already. What was the need for Dark Elevation?
It seems so obvious that they did it to get on a streaming service,
Yeah,
to pump more content out to sell to, like, say, to Hulu to say, "Look at how many hours of content we have. This is the deal you're getting." When in reality, they have a potential to do something cool on a Monday, something different. I'm not working there. It's not my company. I'm not a creative writer, but
yeah,
feel like they could sit down for a few hours and think of something better than what they're doing.
yeah. It's maybe it is just meant to be what it is, and give the indie
Time,
the indie guys that are coming in just a platform to
a
work.
chance to try out, basically.
Yeah, basically that's maybe what they want to keep it
Yeah,
for.
maybe that's
Arpit
what it is.
says, I watched the Garcia match because I watch every Garcia match, so that was very fun.
Yeah, he's
Um,
money.
so he's endorsing that.
Mhm.
Cool. Let's get on to the fourth highlight of the week.
All right, and we'll do this one that we could both talk about, and then I'll let you
Mm,
take the last one. This what doesn't have anything to do with Dark Elevation, Dynamite, or Rampage, or being the Elite. This was something that got emailed to me on I think Tuesday morning, and it
yeah,
was just a great email to receive. It was from the press release from AEW. They have officially partnered with the Owen Hart Foundation, and they are going to be doing a lot of interesting stuff. So Owen Hart, as Jericho said, is all elite, and that's just such a cool thing to hear. They're doing merchandise, action figures of Owen. They are working on putting him in the new console video games.
yeah,
They are officially again partnered with the foundation, which I think is run by Owen's wife and a myriad of other people. And then finally, they are putting on the Owen Hart Memorial Tournament, which is going to be an annual AEW tournament in the honor of Owen Hart. I love this so much, man. Like just for the
love
fact that
tournaments. Everyone
we
loves
love
a
it,
tournament.
and we love Owen. We wanted to see, him get his what he deserves, man, and that is respect and continuing to live his legacy and keep his name alive. And that's
Yeah,
what they're doing. I, you know, I'm not saying that the AEW is a savior for doing this. Like, I know WWE maybe would have done something very respectful and very good, but his wife, at the end of the day, she is the controller of his estate, and she didn't want to do that. So, well,
yeah.
can you really like get on her about that? This is the avenue that she wants to go towards. So, who cares if like, you know what I mean? I don't know. What's your opinion on this whole thing?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of negative press on people saying, AEW are just leeching off them, this, that, and the
That's
other. I
not
mean,
true,
if
man.
anything, like you just said, this is down to his wife, and and I'm not blaming his wife. It's just AEW are a business, and they would have put out a business proposal to the family, and like you said as well, WWE have probably done something similar in the past. She
Or
can't trust
wanted to.
WWE. Yeah, she can't trust WWE. She doesn't want to go to WWE, and she's chosen AEW. The only thing that if I'm to kind of say something's weird about it or anything like that, obviously he had no affiliation at all to AEW. But this is just AEW doing their bit for pro wrestling. This isn't anything about
No.
where he wrestled before or anything like that. They're just
And he
doing their bit
wrestled in other
for pro
places. He
wrestling.
wrestled in New
Yeah,
Japan, which is, but I'm basically by proxy, AW, one of their sister promotions. So
yeah,
he's not, he wasn't a Stanford creation.
yeah,
Okay, he was
yeah.
Stu Hart's creation, and Brett, and over in Japan, it wasn't like someone that they made this character. He was there before. So stop with that. Number two, how many people have come over, and how many people have went on the record saying that they went to AEW or supported AEW or trusted AEW for the Brody Lee situation? You
Hmm.
can't honestly tell me that they did that for a monetary gain. Come
Yeah,
on, man. That's a
yeah.
ridiculous sentiment. Ridiculous. I want to be excited about this. This was an awesome announcement. And if people don't want to like it, fine. Don't like it. But let's focus on the positives. We're getting some awesome stuff to honor Owen Hart, and this
Mhm.
tournament seems freaking awesome, man. And we've been talking about how bad we want tournaments for months now.
Yeah. Now, as long as they don't do anything stupid like put the tournament on YouTube like they did with the women's tournaments,
No,
then we'll be
no.
absolutely fine.
How
It,
about this? How about this? How about stretch it out for a few weeks? Have
yeah,
maybe
definitely.
a match on one match on Dynamite, one match on Rampage, and have it like sort of like maybe a single elimination, maybe a round robin, maybe like this would be AEW's like G1 or something
Yeah,
like that.
it's
Very
literally
competitive.
obviously it's going to be compared to that. I mean, if they even turn this into like some type of pay-per-view or something like that, where all the matches happen on the pay-per-view
That'd be
and
cool, man.
people are wrestling, twice, three times a night.
That'd be such a
Um,
gauntlet.
yeah, something
Yeah,
like that. It will be crazy. Victor says here the Owen Hart tournament winner should get a title shot for the AEW championship since Bret Hart was the one who presented the AEW championship belt.
for
Yes, when it was
sure.
first created. That's a really good idea, Victor.
Yeah.
Have they announced when they think this tournament's gonna fall? Like when
I
is
haven't
it?
heard anything. Um,
So I was actually saying to some guys today when I was recording that obviously it is rumored that in the new year Kevin Owens, aka Kevin Steen, is to
he's
join
gone, bro.
AEW.
Yeah, yeah.
I I know in terms of just watching loads of documentaries, even from his Ring of Honor days and all of that kind of stuff, how much Owen Hart means to Kevin Owens or Kevin Steen. He is Kevin Owens because of Owen Hart.
Yeah, yeah,
He
that's a good
named
point.
his son Owen
Yeah,
because of
okay.
Owen Hart. Like,
This is a great point. This is
give
why I have you here.
give this guy the inaugural, and I know people will then complain, oh, it's a WWE
I don't
guy
care
coming
about that anymore.
over.
Who cares? Yeah.
He's won this, blah blah. Like, I can't think of right now a better candidate for an Owen Hart trophy than Kevin Owens, Kevin Steen,
No, no.
if and when he comes over to AEW.
How much do you think this sold him when it was announced?
Oh,
He's probably like, I'm
literally.
out of here. Here's my papers. And then I saw a Twitter post. It was like they're doing to Steen what they did to Ambrose in his last couple weeks, like
Yeah,
making him look like an idiot, right?
maybe they'll do something like that, or like they did to Ambrose. Maybe they'll announce it. Oh, Kevin Steen is leaving WWE. You know, when they tried to do it with Ambrose, they said, oh, whatever his name is, Jonathan Goodman is leaving WWE. Like they try to control the situation. Like piss off.
Yeah,
Like
right. Yeah, he is 100% gone.
yeah,
And
he's
I think
definitely elite out there.
Zayn is soon to follow as well. And
Definitely elite.
I want this. Oh yeah, okay. So now that you said that, I definitely want Steen to win because that's freaking awesome. And number two, I want this to be like a massive, like 20 to 30 man tournament, like
Yeah.
of the best guys, bro. Not just like a TNT title tournament like we had where it was like just 8 people and they threw it together. Like I want
I
the
want
best in
about
this.
yeah, I want about like you said, maybe about 24 people, like
Yeah, yeah.
that kind of amount of people, and then I mean, out of that 24, maybe we see about 8 from outside the company come. So whether that's people from Impact, people from New Japan, um, just some other high level names they can bring in to really draw eyes to this tournament, to come in every year,
Put
and
Brian in too.
of course, yeah, yeah, all of those names. Like even if they want to make this like, because Owen Hart was a technician, they want to make this like a kind of like a
Bring
technicians,
Saber in.
yeah, like technicians kind of tournament. It'll be brilliant.
Yeah, like the Cruiserweight Classic, the original
Yeah,
one. They did a
yeah,
great job with that. And I
yeah,
know we said some negative things about that company, but that was one of the highlights of the last decade, I think, of what a great a thing that they put together with that. So I'd
yeah.
like
That was
to
brilliant.
remember the countries represented and they
Hmm.
introduced it. It was cool. They had a Bushi, they had Saber. That was awesome.
It was so good.
And ladies and gentlemen, it is rumored that in the next, month or 2 to 3 months, the visas for Japan are going to be opening back up again, and possibly the quarantine will be ending. So the realm of Japan might come back into the equation.
Yeah, yeah. Arpit says here, yes, technical wrestling tournament, please.
Yeah,
And,
Garcia. Yeah, we're all about this, man. So is he.
and Black Neo says Gresham in the tournament would be
Oh
flames.
my
I
God.
agree.
Yes.
Jonathan
Yes.
Gresham, get him straight in. Like, I'm sorry, with all due respect, the Ring of Honor platform, he's outgrown it.
Yeah, we need some. We need Lethal. We need Gresham. We need Hot Sauce Tracy Williams. We need some of those ROH pure guys over here.
Bring
Yeah,
some of those
yeah.
guys in, and yeah, I mean, we're yet to learn more about, like we say, when it's going to be scheduled and all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's great to hear. Great for the family. Great to honor his name, and something else on the AEW calendar every year that we
Look
can look
forward to.
forward to.
And I realized that,
Um,
man, that's such an important thing as I started working and everything, and like dreading, like getting up early and shit. Like this, like good stuff to look forward to at night. So
it
important.
helps.
Yeah,
It
it
definitely
does help.
helps.
Yeah,
It
yep.
definitely helps during the working day. I'll give you that. Let's close off here with the final stuff of the week. You wanted to
All
just
right.
kind of do a bit of a chat on Rampage?
Yeah, I will catch up with it and obviously post, like, what my thoughts later tonight. But I watched like some clips of this, and I know it was cool. I know the Bucks did something interesting with their new bio, but I'll let you take this. Adam Cole and the Young Bucks defeated Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy, and Christian at
Yeah,
AEW Rampage Grand Slam, and then we also had a Kingston Suzuki Lights Out match versus Moxley and Archer. I believe that Moxley and Archer defeated the Suzuki Goon group, and now
yeah.
as payback, they are moving to Japan next week at New Japan Strong at the ECW Arena for a Philadelphia street fight.
Yeah, good stuff on just a very good solid show up and down the card. Um Obviously what you mentioned before, I'll just mention some of the other things. The HFO took on Lucha Bros and Santana and Ortiz. That was a very fast-paced, entertaining match.
Okay.
Proud and Powerful, they have gone into another gear. They are now fighting like, okay, it's time we get our names out there properly now. It's time that we put our name in the hat to be contenders for the tag team championship. Um
Sorry,
it,
Arpit, I got that wrong.
in the in the last
Yeah.
couple of weeks, we have definitely seen um Proud and Powerful just
Yeah,
kind
loving
of
them,
go into
man.
another gear. Like they're absolutely killing it. I don't know whether they were injured, carrying injuries before, but they just look like they have a new lease of life.
They
So
both
gonna be
got
very
cut up,
interesting.
bro. They both are lean and like you could tell they've been putting in work
Yeah,
outside of the ring. And I know
definitely.
JR has been continually saying they look great, man. Uh, bro, Homicide came out.
Yeah,
I saw. Okay, I've always liked Homicide, but I was like, he's kind of past his prime. I saw with the reception he got at Arthur Ashe, which was sick, and I saw him face Suzuki on Friday, and that guy is good as hell. Like, man, he can still
definitely.
go. He's great. Like, that was a great suggestion to everyone out there. Suzuki versus Homicide, good match.
Literally, some really good stuff. But of course, the opener on this show saw CM Punk having his first TV match in over 7 years. He faced Powerhouse Hobbs, and again, just excellence throughout. CM Punk, you know what he's come here to do. He's come to make and teach, but make these younger guys, top level stars. We're gonna be listening very soon to a whole generation of people in the next, 5 years or so saying, CM Punk taught me this. If it wasn't for Punk, this wouldn't happen. Blah blah blah. A lot of these
Yeah, that's so cool.
AEW guys and girls, once they kind of get, reach that kind of prime of their careers, a lot of them are going to have a lot of good stuff to say about the likes of the Punks, of Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson,
Kenny.
Sting, Kenny, these guys that they've brought in to just kind of shore up what they're doing, how they're learning. And this match was terrific. Will Hobbs just goes from strength to strength every time. I wished they did more in the way of protecting him in the finish. I did think we might get something like Brian Cage coming out to help CM Punk, and then he puts down Will Hobbs, and then CM Punk beats Will Hobbs, because obviously there is a big size differential in these two guys. Even the way CM Punk picked him up, I'm sorry, I know I'm spoiling it for you a bit,
That's
but
okay. It's my fault.
the way he picked CM Punk picked up Will Hobbs to give him the GTS as if Will Hobbs was a cruiserweight.
I heard about yeah.
CM Punk done it with ease, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Like, it was literally one swift movement, GTS, pin him. Like, he didn't sell like he was carrying some heavy guy at all. Like, which could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. I'm not really bothered. I was really surprised at how he just managed to do that with so much ease. But
And I heard Hobbs did like really well. I heard people were like level him up a couple points.
Hobbs was fantastic. He done the big man thing of, you having to overcome me, very well. Like I said, he gets better every time we see him. Whether it's the mic or whether it's the in ring stuff, he just
Mhm.
looks better and
He's
better and
one
more
of
unique.
this success stories from the AEW Dark pool.
100%.
Coming in as like a total nobody jobber and really proving himself, getting a contract, having a heel turn, joining Team Taz, and then working CM Punk. Like Punk chose to work with Hobbs. So
Truth be told, he's probably the only success story. We say one of, but
Angels.
I think Angels was kind of given a good. His first match was on Dynamite, wasn't it? Before he joined the Dark Order, he was having singles matches on Dynamite.
I think he like it was either that or then he like continued on Dark or vice versa. But it
Yeah,
was
I think he went the other way. He was
yeah
having matches on Dynamite, and then once they
during the
started doing Dark,
pandemic. I
yeah,
think.
he kind of went backwards, sort of
I'm
thing.
trying to think.
Um, I think Will Hobbs is, people have went on to be signed after, Red Velvet is probably up there as well.
I can't think of like
Red Velvet is probably up there as well, but Will Hobbs is definitely the success story of Dark so far. It's gonna produce a lot more. There's gonna be more names,
Garcia, I guess.
but I feel like Garcia kind of jumped over Dark as well.
Yeah, Garcia. Is he signed yet?
Garcia looked at Dark and Elevation and was like,
I'm
"F
not
that, I'm
doing
going
it.
straight to
Is he
Dynamite."
signed?
Like, I'm not sure if he's actually
Because
signed yet,
2.0,
but
2.0 is
he surely
absolutely
must be.
money. By the way, I'm fully
Sorry,
on. I'm on Team 2.0. I want to see them get the tag belts
brilliant.
eventually,
They're
dude. I
they're
freaking love
actually
those
brilliant.
guys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. They're
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 great.
super entertaining. They know what they're here to do. Yeah, they're very good.
DTE
I've
champion.
liked them. Yeah, BT champions as well. Um, yeah, I really do like them. And it's such a good story. They've come in from NXT, from pretty much just kind of making their break in NXT to losing their jobs, coming straight into AEW, hitting the floor running in segments with Mox and Kingston and everything. So
Sting,
um
Punk.
yeah,
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 right.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Names, big names. So yeah, good for them. But guys, that is our show. That is the Elite Maniac podcast. Thanks for joining us. It's been a very hectic week, a lot of wrestling. We even got an extra hour of Rampage this week.
Yeah, that's killing me,
Um
bro. When am I gonna?
when you're gonna catch up.
I can fast forward through the picture in picture though.
I mean, it's notable that one thing we didn't talk about on Rampage was the Men of the Year versus Jericho and
Oh, I
Nate.
didn't even know about that, but I heard it
Yeah,
wasn't bad.
you can fast forward through that. Don't worry. In
Really?
my opinion, it was just a cluster F. But yeah, let's wrap up here. Smash the like button, guys, if you haven't already. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. And for our audio listeners, please make sure you subscribe. Follow us on your podcast platform of choice. Leave us with a 5-star review. Let the people know about the good work myself and Mike are doing right
Mhm.
here on the Elite Maniac podcast. Mike, any last words before we get out of here?
I no.
Mike is like, I'm tired. I need to rest. I need to catch up on
No, I want to.
Rampage.
I really. This is like the first time I've ever come into a show like not knowing something, and
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like I'm underperforming. I need to go. I'm stressing out. I need to go watch it. But thank you
Nah,
everybody for who stayed on and talked to us. I appreciate it.
yeah, I appreciate the live viewers definitely, and we appreciate you guys listening on the podcast version. It's Rampage was just a lot of good matches, a lot of what I would call three out of four, 4 out of 5 so what am I saying? 3 out of 5 or 4 out of 5 kind of matches. Just very good matches up and down the card. Nothing really much in terms of story. We are getting Jungle Boy versus Adam Cole on Dynamite, so that should be a pretty fun match. That came out of Rampage. But yeah, guys, follow Mike on Instagram, Kings Road Wrestling. You can follow myself, Mex, on Instagram as well, WrestleManiac.uk. And we will see you same time next week. Peace out, guys.
Peace.